Once upon a time, in the heart of Mesoamerica, there lived a civilization like no other, the Aztecs. These individuals flourished throughout the 14th and 16th centuries, imprinting on history. However, who were the Aztecs, and why are they significant today? Tenochtitlan, the capital city of the vivacious Aztecs, was a wonder of its day. One of the biggest and most modern cities you could imagine. But they weren't merely renowned for their magnificent structures. Every element of the Aztecs' existence was influenced by their vast cultural heritage, which ranged from religion to art, agriculture to warfare. Their world was centered on religion. Their lives were centered on the belief that their deeds impacted the harmony of the intricate pantheon of gods they believed in. They carried out complex rites and rituals to maintain the universe's balance. The most interesting and unnerving aspect of their religion may have been offering human sacrifices to win the gods' favor and save the world. We shall discuss it in detail in this video. The Aztecs were nomads seeking their fate long before Tenochtitlan's glory. Initially, their narrative was one of migration and survival. They were once a tiny nomadic tribe living in Mesoamerica's harsh environments. They set off on a voyage in quest of where they would realize their destiny, propelled by a vision. The Aztecs thrived in Tenochtitlan, their home. The city expanded in size and splendor, becoming one of the most influential and technologically sophisticated cities of its day. It was where sophisticated societies first emerged. Agriculture supported a thriving population, and art and architecture flourished. Not only a metropolis, Tenochtitlan was a wonder. The Aztecs' inventiveness and tenacity were evident in the city's structures, canals, and marketplaces. It was a center of culture where residents coexisted with the richness of their surroundings and the majesty of their temples. The gods were strong and many in the Aztec universe. Each god in their pantheon had a unique job to play and a set of characteristics. The fiery god of battle and the sun, Huitzilopochtli, also maintained a unique role as the patron god of the Aztecs. The deity of rain and fertility, Tlaloc, ensured abundant crops would be available. The winged snake, known as Quetzalcoatl, stood for knowledge and represented both creation and destruction. These deities, along with several more, inhabited the Aztec pantheon and profoundly impacted all facets of life. The Aztecs believed that time was not linear, but rather cyclical, and this idea significantly impacted how they lived. They saw themselves as stewards of the universe, preserving the precarious balance between the gods. This cyclical perspective of time was tightly integrated into their ceremonies and day-to-day activities. Every ritual and activity maintained the continuity of the world and the cosmic order. To please the gods, the Aztecs went to great lengths. They had complex celebrations and rituals that were distinguished by extravagant dances, music, and offerings. Priests performed these ceremonies at temples, which served as holy places where they hoped to connect with the divine. These rituals were more than simply religious observances. They stood as the backbone of Aztec civilization and a means of preserving good relations with the gods. Human sacrifice was reportedly one of the most horrifying components of the Aztec religion. It was a serious obligation to the Aztecs. They believed that the cosmos could not exist without the blood of the gods. They would choose military captives or even their citizens to serve as sacrifice victims. They were often costumed as certain gods, treated horribly, and slaughtered in elaborate rituals. They had a strong conviction that order must be maintained worldwide, which gave rise to this terrible part of their beliefs. Aztec civilization was profoundly impacted by human sacrifice. It was a social institution as well as a religious practice. People lived in perpetual terror of future sacrifice, which fostered a culture of fear and obedience. As they recruited prisoners for these gruesome rites via the Flower Wars, it also contributed to the Aztec expansion. The practice of human sacrifice shaped the Aztec worldview, and their relationships with other cultures were also impacted. The entrance of Spanish conquistadors under the command of Hernán Cortés in 1519 struck dread into the heart of the empire, changing the trajectory of Aztec history for all time. Advanced weapons, illnesses that the Aztecs had never heard of, and affiliations with indigenous tribes who opposed Aztec control were all brought with Cortés and his expedition. A confluence of events led to the catastrophic catastrophe that brought about the end of the Aztec Empire. First, the Spanish conquistadors had better technology at their disposal, such as armor and weapons, providing them a decisive edge in warfare. Second, illnesses like smallpox spread quickly and wiped off the Aztec ranks because the native populace lacked antibodies against them. The Aztec Empire's defenses were further undermined by internal conflicts among the local allies of the Spanish, who desired to overthrow the Aztecs. The once powerful Aztec Empire finally fell because of this perfect storm of circumstances. The Spanish invasion permanently altered Aztec culture and civilization. Many Aztec temples and artifacts were destroyed as the invaders tried to impose their own religious beliefs. The local population was further weakened by exploiting their labor and resources, which resulted in the extinction of their traditional ways of life. The socio-political landscape of the area, as well as the Aztec language and culture, were all altered by Spanish colonial power. Additionally, many indigenous traditions were replaced by Christianity and Spanish conventions, which partially erased the Aztec civilization. The period of Spanish colonialism also witnessed the blending of indigenous and Spanish elements, creating a distinct mestizo culture still present in contemporary Mexico. Aztec art, architecture, and agriculture were vivid threads in a tapestry that made up their civilization. Their exquisite stone carvings, vibrant ceramics, and thorough codices recounted their history were all examples of their artistic creations, reflecting their spiritual beliefs. They created magnificent temples, palaces, and ball courts, often embellished with beautiful carvings and decorations. Aztec civilization was based on agriculture. Ingeniously, they created floating gardens called chinampas amid the hospitable waters of Lake Texcoco. They raised various foodstuffs in these gardens, including maize, beans, and squash, which fed their expanding population. Agriculture was unquestionably essential to keeping the Aztec civilization alive. The chinampas not only ensured a steady food supply, but also permitted excess output that could be sold or saved for emergencies. Tenochtitlan's expansion and the prosperity of its culture were made possible by the success of their agricultural methods, which helped them take control of Mesoamerica. Aztec civilization had a hierarchical structure. The emperor was at the very top, followed by priests and nobles. The bulk of the population comprised farmers, craftspeople, and tradespeople. Aztec culture included slavery, and enslaved people were at the bottom of the social scale. Achievements and military prowess might advance someone through the ranks. Social position was not primarily determined by birth. However, there was little social mobility, and each class had high standards. Daily life was a lively tapestry of activity in the busy streets of Tenochtitlan and other Aztec towns. People wore cotton or agave fiber garments, with the style and fabric often reflecting their social standing. While aristocrats decked themselves with more ornate clothing and jewelry, commoners wore simpler clothing. Aztec food was tasty and varied. They cooked maize in various ways, including tortillas, tamales, and atole, and it was a staple food. In addition, beans, squash, chili peppers, and tomatoes were crucial components. Game meat, fish from the neighboring coastlines, and chocolate, a delicacy derived from cacao beans, were all part of the Aztecs' opulent diet. The Aztecs' advanced culture was profoundly reflected in the design of their structures and architectural achievements. Their innovative use of complex mathematical principles and engineering prowess allowed them to create awe-inspiring and functional buildings. The Templo Mayor, for instance, stood as a testament to their architectural sophistication. This monumental pyramid was not just a religious center. It embodied precise measurements and alignments, symbolizing the Aztecs' deep connection with the cosmos. Its design showcased their ability to harmonize religious symbolism with mathematical precision, illustrating the cultural and spiritual significance embedded in their architecture. Furthermore, the Aztecs' expertise in decorative arts was evident in the intricate carvings and reliefs that adorned their buildings. These designs often conveyed mythological narratives, historical events, and the divine. The beauty and complexity of their architectural ornamentation revealed a society with a rich cultural tapestry. Through their structures, the Aztecs left behind a legacy that continues to captivate and inspire admiration for their advanced culture and artistic achievements to this day. The Aztecs' heritage still influences modern Mexico. They left their mark on many facets of Mexican culture, including the language and gastronomy. There are still several words from the Nahuatl language of the Aztecs present in modern Mexican Spanish. The mainstays of Mexican cuisine still include classic Aztec foods like corn, beans, chili peppers, and chocolate. Furthermore, the terrain has been altered by the architectural accomplishments of the Aztecs, including their usage of chinampas. Even Mexico City's layout, which was created on top of Tenochtitlan's ruins, is a reflection of Aztec urban design. Some Aztec customs and heritage have persisted, despite the dramatic changes brought about by Spanish colonialism. Indigenous peoples in Mexico still engage in traditional rites, dances, and artistic expression as part of the Aztec culture. These efforts help preserve the rich heritage of the Aztecs and maintain a connection to their past. That's all for this video. We'll be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time!